Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 0 in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Chelsea end what has been a bittersweet kind of week. 2 very good performances. The first half today was dull. The second half, Thomas Tuchel, as we always seem to do, when things don't go our way in the first half, we turn it around. We bounce back. We do something different. Chelsea have made it to an FA Cup final, and it is against Liverpool. A repeat of this season's League Cup final. And hopefully, Chelsea can make sure that Liverpool do not become the first team to win the quadruple. Don't want to speak too soon. Before we get into the 6 things that we learned about this game today, please be sure to subscribe to the George Benson Football Channel. Hit the like button for Chelsea making yet another final with Thomas Tuchel as the manager. Looking forward to this one now. We've got something to look forward to between now and the end of the season. As European champions, when you get knocked out at the quarter-final phase, it gives you like this sour taste in the mouth that when you're out of the Premier League title race, you just get that feeling that, is there really that much excitement left between now and the end of the season? Now we've got a final to look forward to with being able to secure top 4 to come as well. You just get that feeling that this Chelsea team can still go on and do something very special. We're in good form at the moment. After the 6-0 against Southampton, a win in Madrid, a win here at Wembley, Chelsea are playing very well indeed. The game could have been more than 2 goals. The first half was one of the worst halves of football we've seen for a while. It isn't that big of a surprise, considering that we did have a lot of players out there who played 120 minutes or near 120 minutes in the Bernabeu on Tuesday night. But we could have scored more. I think Timo Werner, towards the end of the game, looking for Lukaku or not looking for Lukaku, as the case may be. Lukaku hits the post, he doesn't gamble on another one. It could have been more, but Chelsea got the job done. And it was a convincing 2-0 win. Crystal Palace in the second half, Chelsea upped the intensity. Jorginho was kind of just solidly sat in front of the defence. In the first half, I think that we were too slow. A lot of that came from Jorginho, who was taking a lot of time to decide where to pass the ball. We always see him, he's very vocal, not just with his mouth, but with his movements of his hands too. He's always trying to dictate where he wants players to go. People weren't really at the races. It felt like a friendly in the first half. And we've heard Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel explain that sometimes it feels a bit like that. It's been talking about the fans in the past, but I think as much as the Chelsea fans weren't at their loudest today, and here's me sat here on the other side of the world in my living room, I'm not slating Chelsea fans, but it did feel quite flat. When you compare the atmosphere yesterday of that incredible Liverpool City game, you compare it to what we saw in the first half today, but I think that whatever the noise or the lack of noise in the crowd was a very fair reflection of the football being played on the pitch. But in the second half, it was done. We begin, box number 1. It is a monumental strike from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And if you're a Chelsea fan, and you've been a Chelsea fan for a long time, and you're not new because we won the Champions League, Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a player who we've had for a very, very long time. And when we look back on how long ago it was that Ruben Loftus-Cheek broke in, we have heard the same kind of phrases used year after year after year, which is, this kid has got a lot of potential. Oh wait, he's not really a kid anymore. 25 years old, he's grown up. And today, he scores his first goal of the season, and what a massive goal it is. The strike itself is thunderous. It's an incredible goal. And Chelsea needed that. It was not too early in the first half, but you start to look at it and wonder, surely this game isn't going to go to extra time, 120 minutes of football again. It doesn't, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek's goal sets the tempo. And it wasn't just his goal. I always say this, whenever a player scores, the chances are, with 6 things we learned, they'll probably get themselves a box, especially if we win. But then, the driving run's going forward again. I'm just watching the aftermath right now on my phone beneath us. You've got the sun coming into Wembley, Chelsea flags everywhere, fans everywhere. I'm absolutely delighted. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, excellent. Delighted for him to get his goal. It's the third game in a row that he started, a third game in 7 days, which is massive for him because Thomas Tuchel has publicly backed him this week. He said that if Ruben can start to play with the confidence that he needs to elevate his game to the next level, then he can be a very important player for Chelsea. And I think if we look moving forward at what may happen come the end of this season, where we might see Jorginho exit, we've got Juventus rumours circling around about him again. N'Golo Kante, I don't think Kante's going to leave, but you could certainly see there is a slight diminishing of his importance in this Chelsea team. And Ruben is fresher legs. And I think today he showed again that with the backing of his manager, playing with a bit more confidence once more, he can be a massive, massive player for Chelsea. Moving into somebody who there's no doubt now is there, surely there isn't anybody here who can genuinely try and justify to me in the comments anymore that Mason Mount is not a key, fundamental member of this Chelsea squad who we will build this Chelsea team around for the future. Mason scores the second. Again, first of all, for this goal, Timo Werner gets the assist. That is what the history books will tell you. But Tony Rudiger, and we talk about this man game by game by game. You see him with his hands on his legs, stretching himself out towards the end. But Rudiger's tackle, leading up to Timo Werner and Mason Mount's interchange where Mount goes ahead and finishes it, Rudiger's assist of the assist deserves a lot of credit. But Mason Mount's finish is excellent. The way he gets his first touch done is perfect. He gets the ball out of his feet, moves it forward, and the finish is sublime. No way the Crystal Palace goalkeeper's going to get there. Up until that point, I thought Mount had been quiet, but overall, I think pretty much the entire Chelsea front line was quiet. There was definitely that remnants of a very hard-fought game in Spain in the Champions League earlier this week, but Mount gets the second goal. Moving into box number 3, it's a yellow today for Kai Havertz. He wasn't at his absolute best. The dive is kind of embarrassing a little bit because it's such obviously a dive. It is warranted of a yellow card. There are a couple of little lashes out, like Mark Gurley tries to pick him up. He's kind of trying to slap his hand away. A couple of fouls as well. And you just think maybe today Havertz was tired, understandably so. And the only reason I really highlight it when we could be just constantly talking positives because Chelsea won a semi-final is because the question I have asked before this week, and I want to ask it to you again now after we've won. Do you believe that Kai Havertz can play 3 games in 6-7 days and play every single one through the middle of the park for Chelsea? Lukaku comes on, hits the post, and then, well, doesn't really do much else. So as much as I'm very harsh on Romelu Lukaku, when I'm looking towards the future of Chelsea's attack, Kai Havertz for me right now is the number 1. And I think Lukaku is pretty much confirmed that he wants to leave. So we've got to look forward in that kind of sense. But Havertz today looked tired. Moving into box number 4, Andreas Christensen. As much as I said in my preview that I picked him, I did think maybe Chalobah would have got in ahead of him because Christensen is leaving. But credit where credit's due. As much as he may well be leaving, we've got to give this lad some credit. He starts today through the middle, which I personally believe is his best position in a back 3, and he was class. Wilfried Zaha, he quite often against Chelsea looks as though he don't want to be there, but he was up for it today, as he should be, being Palace's star man in an FA Cup semi-final. But Christensen did very well, controlled the game, and I think it was probably one of his best performances, at least of 2022, but also, as a Champions League winner, we've got to keep praising this guy when he does well, even if he's not going to stay. And we look at potential issues with signing players. We can't be mad at Andreas Christensen. He's a European champion. And I thought today he was absolutely excellent. Moving into box number 5 is for the manager. Thomas Tuchel is box number 5. It's a green box because in that first half, as I've said countless times throughout this video, we were poor. We were awful borderline in that first half. There was no urgency. Chelsea looked very pedestrian. We were struggling to create good opportunities. In the second half, there's a team talk. And the difference between Chelsea in that first half and the second half was that we actually even run out of the tunnel at the beginning of the second half. You see that? The Palace players are all kind of like chit-chatting around. Vieira's like, we keep going like this, we could be fine here, snatch a goal, and we might make it to an FA Cup final. Chelsea players are running out the tunnel, straight out there, getting into position, led by Azpilicueta, who also had an excellent game today, by the way. Praise to Azpi, he was very good. But Tuchel, that team talk, once again, did the damage. And again, I'm just watching the footage right now in the background. They're showing highlights of bloody City versus Liverpool before they're showing the highlights of Chelsea today. It's a joke. We move and finish this video with box number 6. I'm giving another green to Timo Werner, because to categorise the last 7 days of Timo Werner at Chelsea, can anyone deny that this has been the best 7 days of Timo Werner at Chelsea that we've seen so far? I personally think it is. I thought he was good again today. I think he's working hard, which we've always said, but he's getting the ball a lot more now. And when he's looking up, he's actually looking to take players on. He's being more smart with the passes. They're very intricate, the balls he's trying to pick in the final third. Whereas before, he kept losing it. He kept looking up and then kind of running over his own feet. I am delighted that this man ends the week with yet another assist. He gets another start. Thomas Tuchel is backing him. And as much as I wrote him off, Timo Werner, I really did. I think what he's done in the last 7 days, Chelsea have been phenomenal in the last 7 days. And as much as the Champions League exit really does hurt, it really bloody does, this win today takes us to an FA Cup final. We can ruin what could potentially be a phenomenal Liverpool party this summer. Chelsea deserve it today. 2-0 winners. This has been 6 Things We Learned from your Emirates FA Cup Semi-Final. Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 0. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a roller coaster of a week. Is that what we love, isn't it? Up the Chelsea. Come on, you Blues.